The human mind is like a constantly changing sky. Sometimes it is bright blue, sometimes it is covered by heavy dark clouds, and there are also moments of infinite peace. However, most of us live without ever really contemplating the sky of eternal peace within ourselves. We do not live as observers of the sky, but as those who are carried away by the clouds and winds. We run after every thought, every emotion, every memory, every dream, and mistakenly believe that all these movements are me. Paramahansa Yogananda emphasized a truth. The mind is not you. You are the unchanging soul, the silent presence that observes all these movements. We see clearly, observing the mind is not an effort to stop thoughts, because thoughts are like waves, coming and going. Observing the mind is also not an attempt to eliminate emotions, because emotions are like clouds, coming and going. Mindfulness is learning to stand still, to be still and observe. Observing is like watching a river flow, but not jumping in to be swept away. When we truly pay attention, we begin to reach a precious state. Inner freedom, where the mind is no longer wavering, consciousness is no longer chained, and the soul returns to its eternally pure essence. Becoming the witness, the key to liberation. In the advanced meditation tradition, this state of pure observation is honored with a powerful noun, sakshi, witness. The witness is not a judging entity, nor is it a participant. The witness is simply dispassionate seeing. And it is this dispassionate seeing that is the only key to liberation from suffering. Practice now. When a thought, whether negative or positive, comes to mind, do not react. Do not label it as good or bad. Do not let it lead you into an endless story. Just silently acknowledge its presence. A thought has arisen. When illuminated by the light of pure awareness, the thought will gradually weaken and dissolve, like a ripple that falls into a pond when there is no wind. You do not need to make an effort to push it away, because its nature is impermanent. Just the silence of observation is enough for it to dissolve on its own. Yogananda once affirmed a soul-shaking truth: the moment you become a witness, the mind no longer has the power to control you. At that moment, you realize that you are already free, already pure light. The witness is not a role, but the ultimate nature, the immortal and unchanging self that lies deep within each of us. It is not born, it does not die, it is not bound by joy or sorrow. It is the awakened gaze, beyond all changes in the flow of life. This is not an abstract theory, but a living experience, an experience that can only be felt by the heart and soul. Once you truly become a witness, you will clearly feel that there is an eternal I behind every thought that comes and goes. And from that moment of enlightenment, the journey to liberation is no longer something far away. It is the breath, the present, the right now. Practice awareness of the mind in every thought. Mindfulness meditation is an art of living, a method of bringing awareness to every breath, every step, every moment of daily life. The essence of mindfulness is the ability to turn every activity into an act of meditation. Whenever a thought, an emotion, or a physical sensation arises, create a moment of pause. There is no need to react or judge. Instead, silently acknowledge its presence with clarity and sincerity. I am feeling tension in my body. Anxiety has arisen. A sudden joy has arisen. Then, quickly return to the position of the observer, impartially and objectively. Say to yourself, there is a witness who sees this anxiety. There is a mindfulness who notices this sadness. This coming back creates a sacred space between you, the observer, and the thought, the observed. This space is not a cold distance, but a gateway to inner freedom. Consider a concrete example. When anger flares up, instead of being caught up in its destructive flames, you simply stop and see clearly, this is anger. It comes, and it will go. Or when happiness arises, you simply observe, this is joy. It comes, and it will go. Anger, joy, pain, and happiness all are just temporary phenomena, coming and going, like waves rising and falling on the surface of the ocean. But your deepest nature, the observer, the boundless ocean, remains still, deep, and at peace. When you live in this awareness, you are no longer a victim of mental fluctuations, but become the master of your mind. From then on, every moment of life, even the most ordinary, will become an act of meditation. Keep your mind balanced, don't swing between two poles. The human mind constantly swings like a pendulum, pulled from one extreme to the other, from joy to sadness, from liking to disliking, from praise to criticism. We feel tired and exhausted because we are constantly dragged by these swings, never finding a solid foothold. Master Paramahansa Yogananda revealed a profound truth: true happiness does not lie in any extreme, but can only be found in inner balance. When you practice mindfulness in a subtle way, you will begin to stand in the middle of life with a completely different attitude. You no longer run after fleeting joys, clinging to them and fearing loss. You are no longer drowned in suffering, leading to despair and boredom. Instead, you are firmly established in the still center, a state that is unshaken by any external circumstances. This is the state that the Bhagavad Gita praises as sthita prajna, one whose mind is steady and unmoved in the midst of the changing world. One who has attained this state is like a steadfast mountain, standing tall in the midst of a storm. All the ups and downs, challenges of life can only pass by on the surface, while inside, the mind remains peaceful, clear, and full of freedom. And it is in that unshaken mind that the most noble human qualities such as pure love, infinite compassion, and the deepest wisdom have the opportunity to manifest in the most complete and natural way. How to meditate on the mind, obstacles, and how to overcome them. The journey of mindfulness is not always a path of roses. For many practitioners, it is like a river in flood season with big waves, strong whirlpools, and sometimes even drags us back to the old land of habits and afflictions. However, these obstacles are silent teachers, helping us practice patience and mindfulness. 1. The endless stream of thoughts, overcoming the noise of the mind. Obstacles. When starting out, the mind is often like a noisy market. Hundreds, thousands of thoughts follow each other without stopping. This can easily discourage beginners, thinking that they can't meditate or meditation is not effective. How to overcome, change your perception. Meditation is not about trying to stop thoughts, but about seeing them clearly. Instead of resisting them, accept their existence. Be patient as an observer, sitting on the bank of a river watching the water flow. When you no longer label or judge, the flow of thoughts will naturally subside. 2. Attachment to emotions, the secret key to freedom. Obstacles. When strong emotions like anger, anxiety, or desire arise, they have the power to pull you into the emotional whirlwind, causing you to forget your position as a witness. You become a victim of your own emotions. How to overcome. Don't try to suppress or run away from emotions. Learn to recognize without identifying. When anger flares up, remind yourself, this is just an emotion. It comes, and it will go. In this way, you create a precious space between yourself and your emotions, allowing you to observe without getting caught up in them. 3. Depression and doubt, the principal spring of progress. Obstacles. At times, you will feel that meditation is not bringing any noticeable changes. Doubts will arise. Am I on the right path? Am I wasting my time? How to overcome. See discouragement and doubt as natural tests of the mind. Like the person digging a well, you will not see water immediately. Remember Yogananda's words, every drop of meditation falls into the lake of consciousness. One day, the lake will be filled with light. Consistency and perseverance are the keys to unlocking the depths within. 4. Desire for quick results, the art of letting go. Obstacle. The mind always wants to see immediate results, sublime experiences, ecstatic joy or light. When these do not happen, it easily gets frustrated and gives up. How to overcome. Let go of all expectations. Meditation is not an act of achieving something, but a process of realizing what already exists within. When you let go of desire, the fruits of peace and awareness will naturally ripen and manifest. 5. Dropping in dreams, maintaining awakeness. Obstacle. Many people fall into a dreamy state when they meditate, as if meditation has become asleep. This prevents deep awareness. How to overcome. Maintain an upright sitting posture, keeping your spine as natural as possible. Breathe deeply and focus gently on your breathing or on a certain point. This will help you stay alert and maintain your concentration. 6. The subtle ego, the observer of pride. Obstacles. When you have meditated for a while and achieved some peace, a subtle form of ego may arise with the thought, I am better at meditation than others. I am making progress. How to overcome. Be aware of even this thought. Like all other thoughts, it is just a cloud in the sky of consciousness. When you clearly see its impermanent nature, the ego will lose its power of control. Most importantly, never consider these obstacles as failures. They are secret teachers, giving you the opportunity to practice mindfulness and patience. Remember the words of Paramahansa Yogananda, be patient like a sower. Do not be angry with the earth because it has not yet blossomed. One day the sprout will rise into the light. When the witness disappears, the state of enlightenment. In the early stages of the journey, mindfulness meditation helps us establish a clear boundary. You are the witness, a silent presence that observes the workings of the mind and emotions without being influenced by them. However, this is not the final destination. One day, when your observation becomes absolutely clear, continuous, and without any attachment, you will witness a miracle beyond all imagination. Even the observer himself completely disappears. Why is this so? Because the I that is observing, even though it has been refined, is still the ultimate form of ego. When the view becomes pure and impartial, there is no longer a boundary between the seer and the seen. There is only pure presence, a light of universal consciousness. Paramahansa Yogananda has enlightened about this moment. In deep meditation, you realize that there is no you who is observing, but only a boundless ocean of consciousness that is illuminating itself. This is the moment of true liberation, a state in which all divisions collapse. There is no seer and no seen. There is no subject and no object. There is only one essence, unborn, immortal, full of bliss. In the ancient yogic tradition, this state is called samadhi, complete union with the ultimate reality. In Buddhism, it is the insight of no self, when all concepts of I and mine collapse. In the language of Christian mystics, it is the state of God lives in me, and I live in God. When the witness disappears, you are no longer a small person lost in the universe. You realize that you are the universe, the infinite light, the infinite life. This is not an experience to be held or attained, but a return to your true nature from eternity already present, just waiting to be recognized. Conclusion: a message of awakening. Mindfulness meditation is not a dry technique, nor is it a mere mental exercise. It is a way to return to your true home, where you are no longer controlled by thoughts, emotions, or external circumstances. When you learn to become a conscious witness, you are no longer being carried away by the current. You stand firm like a mountain in a storm, clear like the sky above the clouds. You will realize joy is not from the outside, but from inner freedom. Suffering is no longer the enemy, but the door to enlightenment. The mind is not me, but only a tool to serve the light of the soul. Paramahansa Yogananda once said, "When you learn to observe the mind, you take a step outside of it. And in that gap, you find God." This journey is not just for hermits in the mountains. It is for you, in your daily life, when you are working, when you are talking, when you are walking on the street. Whenever your mind arises, you have the opportunity to return to being the observer. And if you persevere, one day, the observer will disappear. There will be no more I am observing, but only radiant silence, where there is no witness, no object to witness, only eternal truth. That is liberation. That is absolute freedom. That is the state where all enlightened beings smile in silence. A final message. Start today. As soon as a thought arises, just remember to observe it. You are one step closer to inner freedom. Don't wait for another life. Enlightenment is not far away. It is present in every moment of your awareness. Namaste.